Hello, it's Jackie from Jaxsarts, Willow Sculpture and Crafts, and this is the first project I'm going to be making now that I have a selection of foraged materials, some of the willow that I normally use, and things like paper tubes, so I can be making different versions with using different materials. So the first project I'm going to be doing is making a fish. Now here's one of the ones that I might normally make with people using some willow. And there's different variations, but this just gives you an idea of what we're going to do. So if you're not interested in a fish, then you need to wait for one of my other videos. Okay, so first thing we're going to do today is using some of the foraged materials that I collected. What I've done is stripped most of the leaves off. And what we're going to do is I'm going to make a smaller fish first. So looking at the different sizes, because they will all be different that you have, I think I'm going to start with this one. I'm going to, if you see, that's very fine at the end. Now you could just trim that off, or you could leave that to the end and decide if you want to leave it. But what I'm going to do is I've got one end here and the thicker end, and I'm going to find somewhere roughly in the middle and just leave that bit dangling around. And I'm going to slightly just bend it with my thumbs. So you end up with a V shape. Can you see? Now, because it's a fresh material, I mean, willows, when I work with normal willow, it's quite springy. But working with these materials, I don't know how they're going to react, and you won't either. So it's just about trying to have them so they bounce back and forth together like that, and you know it's okay. Try not to push it too far, otherwise it will snap, but that should work. So I'm going to take some of the finer materials, so some finer pieces here, and I'm going to try and show you, because this isn't trying to show someone on a camera is an interesting one, but we're going to see how this goes. So I've taken a finer piece and I'm going to use the thinner end, and I'm going to poke it through the middle. There we are. And I'm going to wrap, I don't know if you can see, I'm going to see if I can show you. I'm going to wrap that round like a figure of 8 shape back to the middle, so you've got that bit sticking out. And then I'm going to take the other piece and I'm going to wrap it over and then back round. So it's, the idea of it is you're going to be holding it onto the end. I don't know if you can see that, like that. Hopefully that makes sense. If it doesn't, let me know, and I'll be showing you in the other videos, the ones with using normal dried willow and using paper tubes, so it's not a problem. So if it doesn't, you don't get it this time round, then look at those as well. So I just have my partner doing a I'm hungry mode through the window, so I'll be going after this. Okay, so when I bend that through, can you see, I'm going to go back round the outside and back through the middle like that, and then back round again, and just do it gently as you go, so hopefully it's not going to snap. If it does, then you just need to take the piece undone and start again. So I'm just going to go back round the side, back round through the middle, and then just keep on forming like a giant figure of 8. And this one feels quite snappy, so I might have to start that bit again. So I'm just going to pull that off, holding that in my thumb. And I'm now going to choose something else. So I think I'll choose some of the grasses instead. If it's not going to work with that plant, you can try something else. So that bit's come undone. So carrying on from the bit I had before, I've got one of the grasses to try this time round. So I tucked that end out there, so just leave it hanging out, and you're going to start again. So where it's hanging about underneath, I'm just going to tuck it the other side, and I'm going to go over, around, and I'm going to go round the piece that broke off, back round again through the middle, and around again. Now when you're working with materials like this, you don't know how they're going to be, so it's really just about experimenting and seeing how it goes. So each time now with the grass, going round through the middle, Now this is working a lot better than that piece that I had before that was quite snappy. So it is again just about seeing what works. So the grasses seem fine, so I'm going to carry on with them. But if you're not using grasses and you're using something else, if it's snapping too much, then just grab another something else and see if that works. So you're just going to work your way up the fish, and because he's got a bit hanging out, I'm not going to cut it yet. I'm just going to leave that hanging out at the bottom. I'm not going to trim anything off until I'm finished. So if I take another piece of grass, where it joined on, where it's hanging out, the long piece there, you're going to just carry on and treat it like an extension of the last one. So I'm going to, can you see that one's hanging out? So I'm taking it back a little way, and then I'm going to tuck it round and carry on again. This time as I go back, I'm going to overlap the previous bit, and then I'm going to carry on going up. So it's just about tucking things in as you go. Now this one's getting a bit snappy, but again, it's working, so that's what matters. As long as it's not breaking and it's going, we're fine. And you can carry on like this, introducing different bits of materials as you go. So this time around, I'm going to use a little bit of the rush. So it's just about what you manage to collect when you're out and about. Can you see? I'm working my way up. Now I'm going to stop here, work my way halfway up, and then I'm going to get the next bit.